Okay, this video is what I think about Las Vegas. Okay, I was excited to go to Las Vegas because it was a happening place. It's got all the casinos and all those like interesting infrastructure there. And yeah, so I went over there. It's this big desert city. I should have driven out and checked out the lake because they're right next to a giant lake created by Lake Hoover Dam, which is one of the biggest dams in America. Hoover Dam and Glen Canyon Dam are the two biggest. And that would have been cool to check out that lake. I'd like to swim across that lake one day. When I'm older, I want to have this thing where I drive all over America and I swim across all the lakes of America. That'd be cool. But anyways, that's another thing. But when I first went there, I stayed a few days in the parking lots. You can camp out overnight, and there's a bunch of parking lots where you can camp out overnight, no problem, because they're 24-hour casinos, and they're always loaded with cars. So there's no way anybody would ever know that you're just camping out there and living in your car. Like the Luxor is a good one. That's the one that I stayed in the first, and then yeah, you just walk around, and you can literally walk all over the city, and not have to wait at stop signs and stuff because they have all these causeways that goes over the city. And then you go inside the buildings and you can like walk like literally all across the entire downtown. I think it's like 4 miles long without even going outside because there's like causeways inside the casinos. There's like this big casino that goes to the next casino and the next one. And, you can like literally get lost there. I did a lot of walking. If you want to get in shape from walking, just go there. And they should legalize rollerblades indoors there. If they legalized rollerblades indoors in Las Vegas, you could have little kids and people could have a freaking blast exploring all over the whole place. Just zooming meow, meow, in and out of people. And people look really, there's lots of like hot girls dressed in sexy outfits, like as waitresses and stuff in the casinos, like with their boobs pushed up and stuff. And lots of foreigners. So many foreigners there who work there. And mainly like Southeast Asians. So many Southeast Asians. And probably a lot who don't even speak English, like working there. And it's weird because they treat the workers there, like who work the elevators and stuff, to like act like really flirtatiously with you. Like, hey, what's up? Is that your wife? Like if this old dude's with his daughter, he'd be like, is that your wife? Haha, like. And like one of them said something to my mom and she was like, leave me alone. I got like weirded out by it. But it's funny. But yeah, so they're really outgoing and friendly. Yeah, it's a really outgoing place. A lot of people are like, hey, what's up? Not just like the people who work there, but the customers and like a lot of the tourists there are foreigners too. Like, it seemed like most of the tourists there were also foreigners, not just the people who work there, but I think it's the number one biggest tourist destination of America, and maybe even the world as far as like a single place. Because, yeah, I guess when people go to America, the first place they want to go to is Las Vegas. I saw so many people from all places: Mexico, Asia, Europe. Yeah, and it's a cool place to check out because they've got like the Luxor. It's this huge pyramid. It's maybe like 85% as big as the Great Pyramid of Giza. But in the inside of it, it's still a pyramid. It's like the shell of a pyramid. You can see that you're inside of a pyramid. It's like a big pyramid tin or something. And along the edges are all the rooms for the hotel. So when you get in the hotel room and you're about to get in your door, you look over and it's like you're in this overhanging, 45-degree overhanging, cliff all the way down into the biggest open space, like I've ever seen. And inside the open space, they have like buildings inside of it. So it's really cool. And, yeah, and then you get in, and then, the other side, of course, your window is sloped. And that's where I saw Chris Angel with my mom in there, and then the Titanic exhibit, and then this bodies exhibit where you see people's bodies, dead people's bodies. And they're black lungs because they were from, like, some polluted place in China. It's freaky. But, yeah, and then they have this big tower there that I paid, like, $16 to go to the top of, and people bungee jump off the top, but it's, like, controlled falling, so it's not, like, total. You're only falling at like 40 miles an hour or something, but it's like, and then they have like this like amusement car thing that's like it's gonna fall off the top of it and then stops. And then you can see the whole 353 degree panorama of it. But I was looking off towards the west, and there's this. I saw this big old like canyon, and it's like like natural nature canyon right next to Las Vegas, right on the edge. And I was actually camping at the base of that. And every Sunday weekend I'd see all these like bikers riding up it. Big biking thing. I should have ridden up there. I dismantled my road bike when I was there. And I didn't actually drive up that canyon. I should have, but you have to pay, and I didn't really want to spend money on that. But I was gonna sell my road bike frame to this kid for $50, and I should have just given it to him, but he didn't have the money. This other kid who lived in the VW van, he came up to me, started talking to me, and I hung out with him and his friend. He and his friend, and we smoked a joint out in front of like this coffee shop. I went to the coffee shop. Like people are really outgoing there. Really, it's easy place for people. I guess people just always approach each other and talk to each other. I was hanging out at this coffee shop, and this black dude's sitting right next to me, and this other black dude's going like passing around like CDs, and he's like, "Yeah, check out my CD. I came here from LA trying to like promote myself. I'm a rapper." And he comes up to this other black dude, and like people were like, "What?" And I was like, "What are you doing like so far from the Strip?" Because I was like way on the eastern side of the town, trying to give people your CD. And then he gives it to the black dude next to me, and he's like, black dude's like, "Oh, cool, man, yeah, because I'm a placement dude. I'm a talent search for rappers. Give me your CD, man. I'll check it out." And I was like, "Oh, weird." And then that black dude like turns to me, and all of a sudden he goes, "You should go to this coffee shop so and so because they're open 24 hours a day, and it's like hippies there, and you can hang out with people." So I was like, "Okay." So I went to that coffee shop. Yeah, and that's where I met those hippies, smoking a joint, drinking with them. But he was telling me they were both locals, like they were from there. And they were telling me that like this one kid, his mom teaches there at the school, and and she was telling him that like in the middle school, like these 7th, 8th grade girls, they've all got these like all of them have all these like different colored like wristbands on their arms, and the wristbands signify what they do for sex, for money. And I guess if you pay girls like $5 or whatever, like they'll fuck you, they'll lick your dick, you can suck their pussy. Like all kinds of crazy shit, like in the bathrooms in school. And yeah, so, and I mean there are lots of titty bars in Las Vegas, like in the Strip, just north of the Strip. I saw them all over the place. I didn't go to any of them because I was kind of trying to save money when I was there. But yeah, and yeah, I got like this never happened once. I mean, apart from that one time in the Starbucks in Tucson where the lady apologized for me to try to get me arrested. But I've never had people approach me and like talk to me in Starbucks, and except for when I was in Las Vegas. Like there's that black dude who talked to me and said that, and there's this other dude, this old dude, who sat next to me, and he was like talking my ear off for like an hour, and he was the weirdest dude. He's like, he told me he was 78 years old, but he looked older than that. One of his eyes were glass. And he could barely walk. Like he walked like this. And I think he said it was because when he was in Vietnam, they hit a mine and he flew like 60 feet in the air and compressed all of his like spine. But he said he had like a 22-year-old girlfriend, and like she thinks she's all hot, but he's the most beautiful man in the world. And you know, he's like totally talking like sex talk, like a fucking 17-year-old kid. And he's like, "Yeah, you can fuck these like these Asian girls, they're good for fucking tight pussies, but you don't want to loan them your car, or they're expensive to have because they're always crashing your car. And then when you bring them out, you got to bring the whole family out from their country." And he kept talking all this other stuff. He's like bragging about how he was in a Walgreens, like he was telling some lady she was fat. Or he's like, no, he's telling some lady how like she was pretty but not that pretty. And then her friend's like, "Stop talking sexually to my friend." So he's like, "Well, you're fat. Obviously, you're going to get pissed off." So then they called the cops and they kicked him out. And he was like bragging about it. And then these other cops there, and he's like, "Goddamn cops getting too much pension. I'm going to go out there and tell them what I think." So he goes out, and I saw him out there, and the cops are like having this animated conversation with him. Weird. And then I was at this other Starbucks, and this other dude was out there, starts talking to me. And he was telling me he was like he owned the band that plays at America Has Got Talent. And he was like an engineer, and he was like trying to give me trade secrets. "Yeah, what you want to do is you have to figure out the legal way to cheat. and that's how you make your money. And he just kept talking to me. And then he finally went away. And then there's this other dude who wanted to talk to me, this Israeli dude, but I wasn't really talking to him that much. In the mood. And then this other dude wanted to talk to me. He looked just like Alex Jones. But he was going crazy. He's like, yeah, I listen to Alex Jones all the time. He and my favorite, he and Michael Saran are our favorites. Yeah, because they're the world's gonna die. We're all gonna die within like 10 years. It's all over. They're ruining us. It was kind of like he was just, and he was like preaching to me for like 10, 15, 20 minutes. He's like, yeah, they're deliberately poisoning the water, man. They want to kill all of us. And he just kept going. He's like, yeah, here, let me show you this one magazine. Goes to the car. He's like, look, it's the magazine. It's like, I can't remember what it was called. He's like, Conspiracy Theory magazine. And he was on the phone though, like a business phone. He's like, yeah, don't go any lower than that. Yeah, I'm not gonna go over. But I guess he was like some kind of investment advisor or something. But he seemed like a high up dude by the way he was talking. But he left for like an hour. And he just left his laptop in the chair right next to me for an hour. And then he came back, and then I saw him another day. I think he was, and then he left for like another half hour. Then he's like, yeah, my external hard drive, dude, I lost all of my files for 7 years. I lost it, and I just found out it's going to cost me like $10,000 to have it recovered from the special ops dudes. And I was thinking, like, you mean to tell me you have a 7-year-old external hard drive and you never fucking backed it up in 7 years? I was like, you're kind of dumb, dude. But apparently he was rich because he was all like, yeah, don't do that, do this. Like, anyways, weird dude. And then there's this other dude in Starbucks. He looked like an asshole, like he wanted to like kill somebody. And his hair was all frizzled, this blonde dude. And next thing I know, he's sitting next to me. And then he turns to me, he goes, so are you from Boulder? I was like, yeah. I was like, how'd you know? Your van out there. I was like, oh. And I didn't even ask him like how he knew that was my van, because before that, like 6 different times people would come up to me and go, hey, yeah, nice van. I was like, thanks. Because they never saw me get out of it. They just see the long hair and they see a Volkswagen and they go, oh, of course, it's his van. And yeah, well, it was. But anyway, he all starts talking to me. He's like, yeah, I make $10,000 a month investing, like investment in Wall Street. And I only work two hours a day. And it's like, yeah, and what are you doing? I'm just like, I'm working on time. Oh, cool, man. I'm going to give you money for it. I'm going to donate to your cause because I love giving money to people. It's like, yeah, I have an apartment here, and I also rent out an apartment in Hawaii because I'm going to move out to Hawaii. And I want to move to Boulder, too. I was thinking about moving to Boulder, getting an apartment there, like having apartments in all these different places at the same time and moving around. And I was like, wow, you're rich. He's like, yeah, I'm really good at it. But the whole time he was playing on a computer game the whole time. Like Tetris or something, on an old computer. And I was chatting him up. I guess I was... And it did get in the way of my work. I was doing work, renaming YouTube videos. So it was kind of easy work while I didn't really have to concentrate. But he did get in my way at work a lot. Because he was just talking to me. Next thing I know, and then I see him the next day and he's like fist bumping me, calling me my name. Like, what's up, Kyle Pounds? Kyle Pounds, like repeating my name over and over again. And then like fist bumping me like 3 times in a row and being like, yeah, and like acted really fake. So I was like, okay, this guy, red flag. And then I saw him on another part of town from another Starbucks he came out of. And he kept bragging about his girlfriend. He said he had some girlfriend who was enlightened. Oh yeah, and he wanted to facilitate the ascension process by giving people money with all the money he makes. To give good causes. But he said his girlfriend was enlightened and she was a Spanish teacher in a public school, but she taught in Spanish. Shouldn't make any sense. But that he fucks her all the time. Oh, he's telling me he was bisexual too. But he said he fucked her all the time and he'd fuck her like 10 hours straight. And he did that just last night. He tripping mushrooms just last night with his girlfriend and her friend who's totally hot. Anyway, next day, he calls me and he wants to borrow $10 from me. And then he calls me, leaves a message. He's like, yeah, I want to know if you could spot me that $10. And then he emailed me twice. He emails me, hey, can I just borrow $10? And this is over the course of like 5 days. And then he emails me the next day. He's like, yeah, I was just wondering if you could spot me that $10, like twice. I'll pay you tomorrow. Like wanting to borrow me $10 because he'll pay me tomorrow, but he wants to do that day after day after day because for some reason he thinks he'll have $2 the next day. And after he's telling me how he makes $10,000 a month, he has a girlfriend. Yeah. Weird shit. You know, yeah, I was talking to this other dude because I was hanging with this other librarian. This other dude's like talking to me. And he's like, yeah, there's like lots of scam artists, all kinds of scam artists here, doing all kinds of crazy stuff, dude. I could tell you about it. You watch your back here at Las Vegas. And I was like, okay. He's like, yeah, but I made tons of money here too. There's a cool way you make money. You look around, you walk around and you look at all the slot machines, and sometimes people win, but they forget to pick up their money. And I made like $600 one night that way. I just picked money out of a slot machine. I was like, cool. He's like, yeah, I live in my van. He lived in his Winnebago, and he had like a 9-year-old daughter who was with him. And he's this old dude. And he lived in his Winnebago for the last 17 years in Las Vegas, parking in the casino parking lots. A big-ass Winnebago. And I saw a lot of Winnebagos there with people like parked in the parking lots out there. But, and then there was this other time, I was in that same Starbucks where the conspiracy theory dude was, the dude who claimed to own the band at America's Got Talent, and then the scam artist dude who wanted to borrow me the money. You know, and the Israeli dude. There's this person comes up, and it was like Pat from Saturday Night Live. I couldn't tell if it was a man or a woman because they were like overweight and like had short hair. But then it started talking, and I could see that it was a woman. But she starts talking to me. Oh yeah, and she was in this like wheelchair, one of those motorized wheelchairs, but she could walk because she got up and she walked right over to get her coffee and walked back. So that was kind of weird. But she comes up to me, and plugs up the wheelchair. She just starts chatting to me, like, yeah, what's up? Hey, yeah, I wanna join. I guess it was America's Got Talent. I guess that's where it's based out of in Las Vegas. I want to be a contestant at America's Got Talent. Where do you? But I need a computer to sign in. So I was like, cool. And I was typing away, and she's like, yeah, I want to be a contestant on America's Got Talent, but I need a computer to sign in. I was like, cool. Yeah, I need a computer to sign in. So I was like, oh shit, of course. You want me to do it. So I was like, yeah, okay. What's the name of the thing? She's like, America's Got Talent. Something. Okay, sign me up for Las Vegas. And I was like, oh, cool. Well, there's Atlanta, there's, Atlantic City, there's all these other cities, LA, but there's no Las Vegas for it. Not for this one. She's like, oh, I thought there was. Okay. But then she keeps talking to me. She's like, yeah, my son or something does this. Yeah, I live a couple blocks from here. And she's like, yeah, you should come by and we'll do a barbecue. Because I like hooking people up. You can have a shower at my place, and because I like helping people out who like living out. She was really friendly, and talking to me, telling me about like life story and stuff. Yeah, and then she left, but she was like really chipper and really happy and stuff, traveling around in a wheelchair. Yeah, so really outgoing people, and even the people who work there. I mean, wherever you go at a Starbucks, people are really friendly. Like they're like, hey, how's it going? What you up to? But at that place, they were off the charts. Like they'd be like, people, it was a drive-through, and somebody would drive through at the drive-through, and they'd be like, hey, how you hanging? What's going on, big boy? Like saying like rhyming greetings and stuff, and like they talk to each other like, hey girlfriend. There's this like gay dude there who is the gayest dude you could possibly imagine. And I've actually noticed that. I think a lot of gay dudes work at Starbucks. I think it's like a place where they encourage gay people to work, gay males. But yeah, he was like hanging out with his girls, like because the girls who worked there, like he was a girl. It was really funny to watch. They call him girlfriend, and yeah, I'm gonna, because he had like a falsetto voice, and he was like this. It was like crazy. It was like he was a freaking actor in a TV show. And anyways, yeah. Oh, and it's funny, I went into another Starbucks, and the lady who worked there was like, you look exactly like this guy at this other Starbucks that I work. And I'd seen her a bunch of times there. Exactly like him. He hangs out there every day. Every single day, all day. You should go over there because he looks exactly like you. And then I was like, cool. And then as she was ending her thing, I was like, wait, that's me. She's talking about me. She just doesn't realize it's me. And I never bothered to tell her that it was me. I was like, what Starbucks? She's like, that Starbucks over. And I was like, oh, yeah. But I didn't tell her. I was like, cool. But yeah. It seems like a poor place though. Like in the north part of Las Vegas, right after the strip, there's like this big green field where there were like 30 homeless people. And they've all had their tents pitched up. There were like 6 different tents pitched that I'm sure they never take down. They just pitch them and leave them there. And like all these shopping carts. And then like a block away, there's this library that I went in once, and it was jam-packed with homeless people. They had this, this big screen TV in this big room playing a movie. And there were like 20 homeless people watching the movie. And like I couldn't find a place to plug in my computer when I was there. Because it's like all these, and like homeless looking people with computers on the internet in the library. Yeah. So then, yeah, and I was like in the east part of town for a couple days, and that seemed kind of like a little bit ratty. So then I went up to the western part of town. Ooh, almost spilled hot sauce all over me. To the western part of town, which is the affluent place. You know, nice cars. It's higher elevation, and it was cooler. And I could actually see downtown, like see the pyramid and everything from up there. And, yeah, you know, paved roads and big. I camped out in one big field for a few nights. And there's this cop in the Starbucks. And I asked him, I was like, what do you think about me camping, living my car in that field? He's like, well, that's probably the property of Hughes, Howard Hughes. But Howard Hughes died like 50 years ago. And he was like, yeah, well, just hang out there anyways. And we don't care as long as we only care if like people like call us and tell them that you've been like raised in hell. So I was like, all right. So I went out there and I camped there. But then I found this other place that was closer, right on the side of the road. I parked at the same place every night. When I leave my car, I like to park in the same place every night. It's kind of makes me feel comfortable when I'm not like having to go to another place every night. But legally, you can stay anywhere, like literally like right in front of somebody's house. You can camp out in your car and stay there for up to 24 hours. That's the law, at least in this town that I'm in, because they called the cops on me a couple days ago, and that's what the dude told me. But yeah, but I eventually left Las Vegas. Like I was planning on being there longer. It's really windy, but then all of a sudden I was like, I have to get exercise. I feel like hell. I started to feel like hell. That's when my body started to deteriorate. And I was going to do exercises out in the fields, but it was crazy windy, like every day. And it was way too windy for me to do that. So, and then I was like, you know what? I have to get the fuck out of this town. I have to get out of here now. Because it had Las Vegas, and I had detected this energy about Las Vegas since I first got there. It's just really high energy. And it's not just the downtown area, which has like all kinds of cool stuff. Like my mom was there with me for 2 days. It has like the Eiffel Tower, the Statue of Liberty, the Roman Forum, the Champs-Élysées, the obelisks, the Pyramid of Luxor, the Sphinx, the skyline of New York, fucking Golden Gate Bridge, replicas of everything up there. It's a really pretty place. But anyways, it's not just the downtown that's really intense. It's also like out in the neighborhoods, out on the eastern part, the affluent part. It was just really intense energy. And it wasn't a place where I could feel, even in the library, where I could feel like I could just like relax. You know, because even when I'm driving around, it's cool energy. I mean, it's friendly and stuff, but it's just like, you know, and it wasn't like Phoenix, where I could just go to a library and just like hang out all day and just like feel like time didn't exist, you know. So I just left. I left there. I was there for like a month though, or a month and a half or something, busting my ass. The libraries didn't have the greatest internet there. Am I right? No, only one library didn't. Yeah. The libraries in Phoenix or in Tucson didn't have the greatest internet. Luckily, the one that I went to did. Yeah, so that's what I think about Las Vegas.